How's it going, guys? Welcome to a Saturday night live stream. We're snowed in here where we're at, so figured I'd do a live stream tonight and see what you guys are up to out there. See if you guys are snowed in like I am. And also, I kind of put a title in the thumbnail for the live stream about limiting truck speed limits. I've been seeing a lot of more stories about this, and I just think it's quite ridiculous. And hopefully they don't do this because, it's already hard enough to make money sometimes that now they're going to force you to drive, 5 or 10 miles an hour less. That'll just take you more time to get to where you're going, especially for owner operators. But see if anybody's out there have any questions or whatnot, or want to chime in about the issue of semi-truck speed limits, because I think it's ridiculous. Trucks should be able to travel just as fast as the speed limit says, as long as there's not adherent weather conditions. Welcome everybody to Sunday night live stream. I'm saying Saturday. It's Sunday night live stream. We're snowed in where we're at, so figured I'd jump on here, see if any of you had some questions for me, and maybe to start a discussion about the semi-truck speed limits. So I'll wait for some people to kind of join in, say what's up, or ask me some questions, and then we'll go from there. Let's see here. How's it going, everybody? Just waiting on some people to join in and see if they had any questions for me, and start some type of discussion on this Sunday night. So we ain't got nothing to do with this weather we're having out here. Let's see here. Going good. No snow in Michigan, though. Wow, that's shocking. Driving for dollars. Really? No snow in Michigan? How is that even possible? We're supposed to get like 2 feet of snow. We've already gotten a foot. And, but granted, we may get one of these really bad snowstorms, like, blizzards, if you want to say, every like 5 or 10 years. We get some decent snow every year, but nothing of this magnitude. But are they forecasting snow for Michigan? Because I would expect you guys to be getting hammered. Okay, so it all melted the last week or so. I wonder if that's a storm that's coming over here and hitting us in Colorado. That would be interesting to know that. But yeah, there's already about 10 inches to 12. And then tonight it's supposed to dump another 12. And it's funny because they always, I don't know if it's like this where you guys are at, but people who aren't from an area where it snows a lot are moving into a new area. Like anytime it snows, it's like the end of the world. on all the news stations, and they'll, over exaggerate to the point where you don't really get that much snow. And then by the time it comes, it's like, 1 to 6 inches, and they're acting like it's the end of the world. So for it to actually be a decent snowstorm, it's like, oh, okay, cool. So it's actually going to be a real snowstorm this time. 40s and 50s for next week. That's nice. It should get up to that here in the next couple days. All this will be just wet, soggy snow. I'm sure it'll be gone in a week or so. Yeah, that's good. That's fine. Sometimes I didn't feel like working anyways. Do they up there in Michigan, do they over exaggerate every snowstorm? Like it's gonna be the end of the world because they have to deal with idiots that don't know how to handle snow. Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, that makes sense. It's ridiculous here. I mean, and us locals who've been here forever, it's like, yeah, it's just some snow, like it'll be all right. But yeah, and then but then it just like everything else, when they over exaggerate it, and then supposedly big storms coming, it's like you're like, you just think it's not gonna be nothing, and then it comes, you're like, oh, it's actually a storm worth something. You guys are so busy over exaggerating 6 inches. And then so you're like, well, is it really gonna be 2 feet, a foot to 2 feet this time, or are you guys just typing it up? But this time it looks like it's actually gonna be what they predicted. But I'm happy we don't have as cold of winters as you guys do up there. That's brutal up there by the lakes and whatnot. Oh my gosh. Waiting on some more people to kind of get in here, see if anybody's really going to join in. I figured might be some other people snowed in like I am, so might be able to start a pretty decent discussion in here. Just thought I'd jump on here to see if anybody wanted some questions answered, or wanted to, discuss anything as far as the trucking industry goes, owner operator stuff, or anything, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty up to, basically have a nice long discussion about anything. Kind of bored. been at home the last few days. Driving was about a month ago. It was terrible cold, and I just stayed home for a couple weeks. Didn't want to get the truck out in that weather. I hear you. I did that in February. We had a week where it was like -5 to -20, and I actually kind of had a contract fall through because I guess they expected me to go out when it was like -20 and deal with their problems. And I didn't want to do it. I went out the first night, had nothing but problems. Took me 12 hours to do one load when I should have been able to do like maybe 3. So yeah, I hear you, man. I did the same thing. It cost me some work, and it cost me a contract, but I don't care. The company was kind of fishy, anyways. But yeah, I'm there with you. I used to go out in the cold all the time. I didn't care. I mean, I've worked plenty of -20, -30, even -40 degree nights in Wyoming, because we go up into Wyoming a lot to go work. And yeah, I just get to the point where I was just like, I just don't want to be out there in that crap. I mean, I makeshiftly made a skirt for my truck, and it still didn't want to keep above 150 degrees. The heater hardly even worked, even with a pretty decent uh, radiator block on it. I do need to get a skirt or a bra for it, though. It has the tabs for it. I just need to go get it. So what kind of work do you do driving for dollars? What do you haul? Curious. And also welcome to the chat. We'll get some more people in here soon, hopefully. Usually takes a few minutes. Yeah, it's much nicer to watch out your window when it's -20. Drive in or pretty much anything. Awesome. Are you local or over the road? Or a little bit of both? Kind of curious on what's the most popular stuff up in Michigan to haul? Probably, I was probably thinking about just about anything. Like here, we have just about anything as well. Okay, yeah. Mainly sticks in the Midwest. That's probably where the best work is. Yep, pretty much anything. That's good. What do you like hauling the most? Because I haul tankers. I'm pretty much do tanker stuff. Um, Mostly hazmat. I heard a buddy of mine, a company he's gonna go work for. I guess they've got some contracts going from Montana and Washington down to Texas, and then back up here with hazmat dry van load. But we were trying to figure out what that might be. What's coming out of Washington going to Texas, dry van hazmat. So we were kind of curious about what that commodity, what they might be hauling. I'd rather haul the bulk commodity, to be honest, than have to deal with the dry van and having different units and different hazmat stuff. Yeah, whatever is paying most at the time, I could really care less what is in there. Yeah, no, I hear that. So it's just dry van then? So just whatever loads you can pick up with the dry van? Yeah, I wouldn't care either, to be honest, if that's what I was doing. Um, do you haul any hazmat stuff in there? And if so, like what have you had good experience? Have you had good? Do the hazmat loads pay a lot more? Okay, I see. Have you ever hauled hazmat stuff in that dry van? And did it pay a lot more? Welcome everybody. Just doing a live stream. We're snowed in here, so I just wanted to start a chat, see if I can answer any questions, and maybe any discussions. Kind of wanted to go over this. I keep on seeing more and more stuff online about them really trying to start going after mandates for speed limits, and that's just going to kill all of us because you're not going to be able to make any money if you can't get the load there because you're driving so slow. And I think it's kind of a safety concern too. people trying to erratically pass you all the time if you're going really slow. Driving for dollars. I have no authority, but no hazmat. I don't have my insurance set up for that. I am licensed for it though. Okay, cool. Yeah, I forgot about the insurance side of that. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be worth it because unless it paid really well. Because the hazmat that we do is all you lease on to someone else's authority in DOT and run under their hazmat authority. Since it's so expensive just to do it with one truck, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, slow, it sucks because then you're always in the way. Yeah, I hear that. I never really dealt with that problem, but I see, there's guys that just, clog up the highways and cars are trying to fly past them and whatnot. I don't understand it. I mean, I was doing a lot of long mileage stuff out east, and I went like 70 miles an hour, 71 instead of 75, just to kind of save on fuel. And you're not too much in the way there, but I mean, they're talking about 65 miles an hour. And even I've seen even some stuff saying 60. Like that's 10 or 15 miles slower than the speed limit. That's a big issue. And there's a couple of companies that are already regulated at like 65. And, highways out here where I'm from are 75 miles an hour. Up north or 80. So that's just like super slow. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know how they're going to enforce it either. Yeah. 60 would be a huge problem because you can't, I mean, if you're going up a hill, you're going to severely, like, you're going to choke yourself out so bad that by the time you start going up the hill, you're going to be doing 50 or 40. Whereas if you do the speed limit, if you start at 75, you might get down to 60. But if you're already at 60, you're going to be doing like 45. Yeah, for sure. Let's hope they don't get their way and either if they do it, I hope they don't enforce it. Because that's just ridiculous. Or they better pay us more, but we all know that's not going to happen. Inflation's raising the price of everything, but for some reason it's not raising the trucking rates at all. And fuel's going up, but then our rates are not going up. I don't know what your rates are doing driving for dollars, but our rates have kind of stayed the same. And in some cases, they're still trying to get us to do more for less. I know there's a couple good flatbed loads out there that are paying really, really high, really, really decent money. But as far as everything else, it just seems like there's not a whole lot of stuff out there for a decent amount of money. $1 to $1.50 a mile is just that's not enough. I hate to say it, but I think you need at least $2 a mile. And that's at least, that's with the work being easy to do. If any owner operators out there will probably agree that, I don't feel like $1 to $1.50 is enough. Especially if they're going to try to kill your speed limit. And that's even less miles you can go if you're getting paid by the mile. Which we usually get paid on a bracket system per how much quantity of how much of a load we haul. So it does break down to mileage for part of it. Driving for dollars, I have had a few really good ones lately, over $4 a mile. That's good. Damn. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, my buddy who does flatbed, he's had a couple of those as well. I was like, holy crap, man. He's like, I'm taking 1,000 miles and making $4,000 or $3,800, and then he's getting another, $400 on top of it for like a wait time, bill to, I'm like, man, that's good money. You do $4 a mile. Kind of makes me want to go over the road a little bit if I can get $4 a mile. But I try to stay local or out and back for the most part. Yeah, if I can consistently make $2 a mile, I'm pretty happy, which isn't too hard to do. Let's see, if I can drive 300 miles a day and make $900, that's $3 a mile, all included. If you count all the miles, and if you count just loaded miles, I mean that's even more. Oh, that's good. So you do kind of stay a little bit more local if you're only going 400 miles out. That's good if you can consistently just go about 400 miles out and back. That's pretty good. I wouldn't mind doing something like that, but I just have a hard time finding it around here because everything comes into here, but not a lot goes out. Except for, I mean, there's some stuff, but it's so dedicated to companies that may not have owner operators. They may just have company drivers doing it. Yeah, I definitely try to, with what I do, I definitely try to run under 400 miles a day, and that's all local. Like for us, that's a lot. Pretty easy being close to Detroit and Chicago. Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear that freight's really good up there. A lot of guys I know, they're always going up there to get loads, either out of Illinois or Michigan. Yeah, that's good. And hell, man, if it's paying anything anywhere close to that $2 to $4 range, that's you're set up in a good area. That's my downfall is where I'm at. It's not that good of an area. There's some good local stuff, but a big portion of our local stuff is going away, which is oil field, and they're just piping everything. So we're kind of having to change up and do different things. But 10 years of doing the same thing, it's hard to change. Chicago's crazy though, man. Like I don't know about Detroit, but I drove like a little bit into Chicago, and I was like, all those tunnels or all those bridges and underpasses and exits and on ramps and off ramps. That got so damn confusing. And then like if you're in the right lane, it's like 12 foot, and then in the left lane it's okay. So you definitely gotta know what you're doing if you're going in like the heart of Chicago for sure. I was bobtailing with the truck on the back, bringing one back, and I was going to go in there to see it, and I turned around. I was like, "This is crazy," because it is very hard to navigate if you don't know where you're going. But the local guys, man, they were just flying by. I mean, because they know where to go, what lane to be in. But I wonder how many guys, pick the wrong lane, and it's too short of a bridge or overpass on that lane. Because here we don't have nothing like that. Like either you can't go through the bridge or you can go through the bridge. Yeah, I don't blame you staying out of the right in town, if possible, just general area. No, I got you. That makes sense. But man, if you ever have to go into like the city part of it, I don't know what that highway is called, but you go north off I-90, I-95, can't remember. Yeah, it's crazy. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just like crazy time. This is a couple years ago. I can imagine how much traffic was coming in and out of there at like midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. Is Michigan pretty decent? Like a cheaper cost of living there? I'm assuming it all depends on where in Michigan, but is there some pretty nice areas? How's the cost of living out there? Because here where I'm from, it's just expensive. A lot of people are moving here, but a lot of people are moving away as well to southern states to get better, make their dollar go further. Welcome everybody. See some people getting in here to the join-in. Just looked at the load board. There is a Zealand Mai to London, Kentucky for 2K right now, which is $4 a mile. Dang, man. That's crazy. That's good. That's really good. And then I'm sure Kentucky back, it's not hard to find a load maybe coming back that direction. I know Kentucky, that area is pretty good. Diego Varelas, sorry if I butchered your last name. Do you still drive at night? Yes, I do. I mostly drive at night, yeah. The last few days, I've been driving during the day, like, because some of the places we got to be offloaded by 10 p.m. So, but I was still starting at like noon. But yeah, I mostly try to drive at night. How about yourself? But here lately, been kind of just taking some time off. I'm kind of on a day schedule, but I still stay up most of the night. Yeah, driver dollars cost is a little above average, but not terrible. That's good. Yeah, what I started hearing is that just because of the all the pandemic and stuff, that there's going to be a huge surge of freight that need to be shipped, and it was going to start paying really good because they put a stop to a lot of supplies and whatnot. Just haven't there's been a backlog of stuff that needs to be shipped or produced. But now that that's starting to come back alive, there's going to be a huge demand. Diego, I start work at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. Nice. Yeah, I work like the opposite of that. Diego, that's perfect. I plan on buying a truck in 2 months. Yeah, that's awesome, man. What do you plan on doing with it, or what do you do right now? I like driving at night personally. Um, but I've just been doing it for so long, and I kind of just fell into it when I got into trucking. The company I went to work for, they're like, it was a great opportunity with a really high paying job, and they're like, hey, we'll hire you if you want to work nights. I was like, okay, cool. And 10 years later, I'm still doing it. and I just kind of got to like it a lot more than days. I mean, I'll start pretty early in the afternoon sometimes, so I don't always work like overnight. Sometimes I'll start at like 2 p.m., and I'll be done by like 2 a.m. So I guess that's still nights, but most of the time I do like a 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. It all just depends on what's going on. It's harder to it's hard to have a social life for sure because you're kind of sleeping most of the day or all day, but it's not bad. The benefits outweigh the pros outweigh the cons for sure. But yeah, anybody else got some questions for me regarding the trucking industry or some thoughts, concerns, comments as far as the trucking industry is concerned, or this whole now they're trying to get after this speed limit stuff, which is ridiculous. Hopefully it just gets stonewalled and doesn't really go nowhere. Or they don't, like I said before, hopefully they don't enforce it. Diego, what's a step-by-step process of becoming an owner operator? Well, I've got a couple of videos on that on my channel, Make Money Trucking on YouTube here. Basically, are you currently a driver? Like, are you currently a CDL driver? Is the first thing I would ask you. And if you are, how much experience do you have? That'd be the first step to actually become a driver and get some experience and figure out what you want to do. Okay, so you have 2 years. That's pretty good. Do you do you want to be an owner operator in what you currently have experience in? Like, flatbed, dry van, dump truck, tanker, whatever you're doing. Do you currently do you want to do that, or are you looking to do something different than what you have experience in? Okay, so you do dry van, and yes, okay. So basically, I would start. Well, first you gotta save up money to finance a truck. Well, first you gotta save up some money for a security fund or a safety net for like breakdowns and whatnot. I usually suggest saving about $10,000 or $20,000 and having that in one bank account, and then um, going and financing your truck. So have $10,000 to $20,000 set aside for expenses and repairs, and then you're going to need to go and talk to a bank or a finance company and see if you can get approved to buy a semi truck and for what amount. And then if that's all good to go, then start talking to some companies that you know about, or try to vet them. I've got videos about that as well. How to find companies to lease onto or run under, Or it looks like Driving for Dollars. It looks like he books his own loads and has his own authority. So you can look at doing something like that. But if you're just starting out, um, there you go. He just chimed in. Yeah, get your authority and go for it. Yeah, I mean, if you've got money saved and you're motivated to do it, I mean, there's plenty of work out there right now, especially for drive-in over the road stuff, flatbed too. And if you don't want to, you might want to lease on to somebody first just to kind of get the hang of things and kind of learn the ropes. Because once you own the truck, it's a lot different than driving the truck for somebody. So maybe lease on to somebody for a few months, 6 months, and then maybe save up some money and then go get your DOT and authority. That'll take you 30 days to get your authority activated. And then you're good to go. Or you may just like the company that you're leased on to. As far as me, I haul hazmat, so I have to lease onto somebody. I mean, unless I had like 5 or 10 trucks and I got my own hazmat authority, but it's so expensive as far as insurance. It's better for me just to lease on to somebody else. But I've had my own authority in DOT and did some construction stuff, and we had side dumps and drivers, and then we hauled a lot of sand in the oil field after that. And then I kind of got sick of having drivers and losing a bunch of money, so I just went back to me, myself, and I. Yeah, that's the quickest. Yeah, you're welcome, Diego. Yeah, that's the quickest crash course. Like, obviously, there's a lot more involved, and I could spend hours, going over what to do, not to do, what to do, what not to do, what route you want to go, what truck you pick or whatnot. So check out my channel, check out some of my videos. You might find them very helpful. Yeah, Driving for Dollars. Insurance is what will cost you the most, 12 to 1,500 monthly, roughly, besides truck payment if you have one. Yep, that's exactly what I paid. That's around what I paid as well for when I had my own authority as well. I paid about $1,200 a month, and as I had drivers, that obviously went up to about $2,000 or $3,000 a month, um, and added more trucks too. Yeah, and that's not going to go down anytime soon either. That keeps going up too. Um, I talked to some companies out there, and they're getting really strict on some of the requirements. And there's a company I'm contracted to now, and they told me their insurance just went up by well, they have a big company, but they said their insurance went up like almost $1 million a year, just because of a bunch of BS happening. Like around here, we used to do a lot of construction stuff, with side dumps and end dumps and whatnot, and belly dumps, and insurance went up because a lot of idiots down in Denver kept on wrecking into each other, or cars running into semis, and then the semi gets blamed. Not saying it was definitely probably 80% of the time wasn't the truck's fault, but then insurance goes up and up and up. So yeah, it was like $800, and then it went up to $1,200 for us as well in the matter of like a year. And we had no issues. We had no record or no bad incidents. Our stuff was all clean, and we still had to pay that much. It was through Progressive though, so I get it; they're a little bit higher, but they're a little bit easier to. It's pretty easy to get on with Progressive. Although a lot of people argue with me in the comments otherwise, I don't know what they're doing wrong, but I can call Progressive up tomorrow and get a new policy for new authority. Okay, yeah, so yours as well. Yeah, a lot of people want to argue with me and tell me, "Oh, I Progressive doesn't do bobtail insurance or trucking insurance." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I currently have Progressive, and I just have my bobtail, which is general, liability and uninsured motorist, which maybe that's where they're getting confused, but we call it bobtail coverage." Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'm able to help some of you guys out there. Pretty exclusive. Tonight, got about 5 people on live stream. That's not too bad for what I usually have. Yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. While you have me, and there's not usually I have about 10 or 15 people, so I'm usually answering a lot of questions at once. But while it's only a few of you in here, feel free to ask me some questions if you're really wondering or need some help with something. I'll try to help the best I can. Oh yeah, no, I only pay about $200 per truck, 250 for a bobtail, which is non-trucking liability, or I don't know how they frame it, but so I have 2 trucks. I pay about 450 to five, from $400 to $500, because one of them is a little bit lower than the other. So it's really not bad. I don't know if it's my driving record or my insurance, my experience that helps. Diego, how often do you break down? Well, that's a loaded question. Sometimes you break down a lot. Sometimes you don't break down hardly at all. As far as like breaking down, I don't really break down a whole lot. Usually, I basically, usually I catch problems at the yard before the truck goes out, so I'll have to fix it, or usually I can get it back to my yard. But yeah, if you're going like over the road, you know, it just really depends. Sometimes you'll break down a lot. Sometimes you won't break down hardly at all. It really just depends on the truck you buy. If you know how to fix a truck yourself, if if you get into a good, truck or whatnot. The Asian My Show. Thanks, man. I appreciate the support. We're trying to help some truckers out there, man. We really are. That's the name of the game, man. That's the point of the channel. So I appreciate you stopping by and giving some support. I know you've done a lot for as far as giving some guys some information, some good info, and some good help as well. So that's the goal. I wish some guys would have helped me when I first started out, but like yourself, I'm sure it's the same. At least most of the time. I wish I had some of the help that I try to give out. Driving for dollars. Keep up with your maintenance. That really helps. Limit the breakdown. Stay away from the newer trucks with all the emissions crap. Yeah, that's true too. Um, you're absolutely right. Maintenance definitely helps. Keep up with the maintenance. And there's definitely problem childs, out there. Like there's certain motors and certain trucks I'd stay away from. um, and yeah, try to stay away from newer trucks if you can, unless you just get a really good deal on one. I'm actually looking to buy a newer truck, but it's going to be a special type of truck that I won't have to worry about emissions, but I'll be coming out the video about that soon if it goes through. Starting tomorrow, we're going to start, making some phone calls and whatnot, see if the deal is as good as they say it is. Sometimes with the emission stuff, there's ways to handle that if you're staying out of certain areas. Yeah, possibly. We'll see. I'm thinking about it, driving for dollars. I'm thinking about it. Because some of the carriers with the insurance are getting really strict and they want a 2013 or newer, 2012, 2013 or newer truck. And I've got a 2011 and 2008 that are fine. One of them may have not been helped in the emissions department. And then the other one, it hasn't needed help yet, is I guess the best way to put it. But some of these contracts, the good ones, they're just wanting a newer truck due to their insurance. But given their work that they have to offer, I'm gonna go out and start looking. Yeah, it's definitely a good way to go, but man, it's an expensive way to go too. Now that you're not able to really make gliders anymore, they're getting a lot more expensive. And some of them are just crazy money. So I'm really trying to do my due diligence of finding a good deal that's not too good of a deal for a reason. Some piece of crap that's just been, rode hard and put away wet, not taken care of. But yeah, that's why I figure too. A lot of the stuff we haul heavy spec, like 110,000 pounds tankers. But with the new stuff that we're going to be doing, we don't really need to haul that heavy. And that's a problem, is they don't make a whole lot of heavy spec gliders. I'm sure they're out there, but they're really expensive. I mean, gliders are already expensive. Then you throw in the heavy spec part of it, and it's just, that adds $50,000 if you can even find them. So luckily, now that what we're going to be doing, we don't need quite heavy spec trucks. We're probably just looking for just a standard, 40K suspension. And like I said, it's one of those things, if you know, you know. I might be selling my 2008 and maybe my 2011 to get that, potentially, if I can find a good enough deal, or if I can make the financing work. Yeah, I wish that companies, usually it was 2010 or newer, which I guess is about 10 years old, which that's usually how it is. And having a 2011, I didn't really have an issue. And even having 2008, I didn't really have an issue as up to a couple of years ago. And now, some of these companies even told me like they want like a 2015, no older than 7 years old. So that's a 2014. Texas, easy. Boy, easy. Advice on how to get into trucking with an accident still on my driving record. How bad was the accident? Was there any injuries or fatalities uh, that linked to that accident? And how long ago was it? That would be my first question. But if it wasn't that serious, and it was a few years ago, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but there is no injuries or fatalities. My older car was totaled, and it happened in August of 2018. Yeah, so okay, well, that's good. If it was in a personal vehicle, that's a little bit better. Obviously, if it's in a semi or a CD, a Class A vehicle, that's going to be a bigger problem. But if it's in a personal vehicle, insurance may be a little bit tricky, but there are still companies out there that will be willing to hire you on as long as you haven't had any issues since then. A lot of companies say no accidents within the last 3 years to 5 years. So usually it's 3 years. No tickets within the last 3 years. Yeah, and driving for dollars is right, as long as it wasn't like a under the influence type thing. But if that was the case, you probably wouldn't have a license right now. Or, well, maybe would get reinstated. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's not impossible. You just gotta, talk to some companies out there and just, you know, don't waste your time. Like cut right to the chase. Say, hey, I want to become a driver. That's good. Okay, well, that's good. If it's not a DUI or anything like that. Um, Good point. Driving for dollars. I didn't really think about that at first. Yeah. So, do you have a CDL yet, or are you just looking to get into trucking? Um, I would start trying to reach out to some companies, and say, hey, I want to become a driver. Looking at my CDL, would your insurance hire me? And just cut right to the chase. It's going to be difficult, but there are some companies out there. You might have to work for some not so great, or not, I would say, not the best companies to get your experience and get some time window in between you and that accident. I think you're probably gonna need to get at least 5 years in between you and in time and space between to get into some of the trucking companies, that some really good ones. Um, at 3 years, it'll start operating. Let's see, 19, 20, 21. So yeah, we're coming up to that in a few months. I think 3 years is going to open some doors, and then at 5 years, it should open a lot more. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was talking about. The mega carriers, the big ones, they're not the best to work for. They may hire you. Uh, that's right, dime dollars. Yeah, that's exactly right. Um, they may be so desperate that they might. Yeah, you're right. They may hire them anyways. Might not be the greatest paying job at first, but you're getting your experience in. And I would try to get on with one of those. Get them to get you your CDL. You can make good money as a local driver. That's primarily what I try to do. But the problem is, the mega carriers don't usually do local stuff. So that's going to be that's going to be really difficult with having that on your record. you need to have, I would say, definitely talk to these companies because it all depends on the company. Okay. But in my experience and what I've seen, you need at least 5 years to get on with good companies in between an accident. Um, 3 years will get you going with somebody, but I think you really need 5 years. And local companies are a lot harder to get hired on with most of the time. And the mega carriers don't really have a lot of local jobs. They do have some, depending on where you're from or where you're located out of. They might, but I'd say check with some of them and see, and try to get them to get your CDL for you and send you to school, or start talking to some schools. This might be an idea too. Start talking to some truck driving schools out there, and some of those recruiters take what they say with a grain of salt, but some of them might know connections to companies that will be willing to hire you. So if you go to Joe's trucking school, some of their staff or their recruiters are people that will be training you or recruiting you off to other companies, because a lot of these driving schools will promise you that recruiters come in from the mega carriers to get their applicants. I would call some of them and tell them your situation, and they may tell you, "Oh yeah, we know like 5 carriers that'll take you. They're in such need that as long as everything else is good." Yeah, I mean, and not even that. I mean, some of it is networking for sure, but some of it is just talking to these guys. Yeah, driving for dollars. Yeah, OTR money. Well, OTR money may be the only money he can get too. I mean, to be honest, the local companies may shy too far away from him. The mega carriers may be the only option for you, Texas. Um, yeah, but don't be scared to call, even though you don't have your CDL and you're not in the game as far as the trucking industry yet. Just call some of these places and talk to them and say, "Hey, look, this is what the deal is. Do if I come to your school, do you got companies that are willing to hire me?" Or talk to the companies themselves. Say, "Hey, can you give me my CDL?" And then say, "Can you get me approved on your insurance?" Because I'll be honest with you, I could get any driver approved within reason. It comes down to money. I got a video about that. It all comes down to money. I had a driver that typically a driver would cost me a couple $100 a month on my insurance, or $0. It just depends on how much driving experience they have, how good their record is. But to make a long story short here, I had a driver that at first my insurance lady missed it, or it just came to the insurance later, because they have what they call the back pages, and they can see everything, any type of incidents you've been involved in, that a MVR may not pull up. So I hired a driver and everything was good. They approved him. They said he was going to cost me probably $200 a month. And then literally like a month or a couple weeks later, I got a bill from my insurance saying it's going to go up by like $1,000 a month. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Why is it going to go up? And then I talked to my insurance lady. She goes, "Oh, turns out your boy George over here has an accident on his record. Doesn't come up on his MVR, which is what they initially pull, but on those back pages we see he was involved in an accident, and that's going to boost your insurance." And supposedly the guy that worked for me, it wasn't his fault. He was parked at a stoplight or parked at an intersection, and a car clipped his front bumper. I don't know. I can't speak to what had happened, but I was still able to insure him. It just would have cost me a lot of money. So, with that being said, and he was posted at fault in that accident. even though he claims he wasn't. So a company can insure you if they're willing to pay the money it costs to insure you. It's all just about money. Rocky Prez, what's going on, man? Happy you tuned in. It's been a while, been a couple weeks. But yeah, that being said, just keep on trying, man. I understand, stuff happens, mistakes happen. None of us are perfect. So just keep on trying. If it's really something you want to pursue, you can make good money in this industry. It's getting harder to, but it's possible. Rocky Perez, been an owner operator for months now, and I've got to tell you, this 12.7 has been great. That's good to hear, man. Yep, they're usually pretty good. I'm a big fan of the 14 liter myself, but the 12.7 is still pretty good. That's good, man. Happy to see it's going good. Driving for dollars. 12.7 is the only way to go. Yep, or a 14 liter. I like the 14 liter personally because I can turn it up to like 600, 650 horsepower and it'll take it. And that's what I've done on my 2008 Freightliner. And she don't complain. That's also another thing, driving for dollars with what we talked about, the gliders, man. It's hard to find a 14. They all have 12.7s in them. So I'm looking for a 14 liter. Which I don't know. I mean, maybe you can reliably turn the 12.7 up to like over 550. But in my experience, what guys have told me is they really don't like to be turned up that high. But my personal experience, I've had a 14 liter put a few 100,000 miles on it at over 550 horsepower, and it's taken it just fine. No problems. And we even turned it up to like 650 at one point. I'm assuming you guys have all seen my video where I talked about why the Detroit 60 series is the best semi engine, right? Rocky, I think I think we mentioned that last time we talked. Yeah, that's one of my best performing videos is talking about that. Yeah, exactly. And that's where I know, that's why I've always been told is I'll run at 500 uh, just fine. Some guys said you could push 550, but it's just kind of like a little bit tricky. Rocky, yep, awesome, man. I'm happy you saw it, and I appreciate the compliment there. I try to be as informative and helpful as possible. All these videos that I do, anything I talk about is all from personal experience or the best to my knowledge. Um, it's all real world stuff. And it's all geared to try to, help everyone out there who is interested in being helped or want help within this, niche of trucking that we have here. But yeah, Rocky, I'm happy that's going well for you. That's good, man. Congratulations on the couple months as an owner operator. You definitely got the right truck, and driving for dollars, you got a 12.7 as well. You guys got the right motors. Which I've just got the bigger brother, the 14 liter. So awesome. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right, Rocky. Uh, Prove me wrong. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Guys have tried, and I don't know that anybody's really proved me wrong. I mean, that's the thing, there's just so much. It's like kind of one of those things. You've got your super trucker guys that Caterpillar and Cummins, but the the thing is that they always respect the Detroit 60. They may not want to go buy one tomorrow, but they're like, "What do you got?" And you're like, "I got a Detroit 60." All right, well, that's cool, man. I that's cool. I approve. you know so that's what I kind of found is they definitely and I don't have nothing against those. I just have all my experience with Detroit's, and they've done me really well over the years. Like I still have my first truck, and it's got 800,000 over 800,000 miles on it, and I started in that with a 14 liter. um I helped the emissions out a little bit, and it's been fantastic. I have a 1993 T600 with a 12.7 and 13 speed. That's a good setup, man. See, so it's a little bit more aerodynamic. That's good. You hauling a drive in and going out putting those miles on. That's good. Yeah, that's probably good. I'm not too familiar with the older. Uh, I drove a T600 for a company, and it had a big N14 in it, and that truck was crazy. It was insanely powerful. But it turns out it's one of the owner's trucks. This is a big trucking company, but it was one of the owner's trucks. So he like had it like souped up and whatnot, and it was a T600. I think it was like a 2002 or three. So it was a little bit newer, and man, that truck was just it was a rape ape, man. I loved it. Oh no, I loved an N14, but it was a good truck. And one of the first trucks I was assigned to as a company driver was a Freightliner Classic, like a 2005 with a 12.7 in it, or maybe it's a 2004. I think it was a 12.7. It might have been a 14 liter, but I think it was a 12.7. And that was a good truck. And I drove that thing for months, months, months. Never had any problems with it ever. And I know that we would slip seat a day and a night guy. I know the day guy beat the crap out of that thing, man. He was not light on equipment, and that truck took it, and we never had a problem with it, even with him beating on it all day and abusing it. I know I liked you for some reason, driving for dollars, because you're a Detroit guy. Just kidding to all the other people out there. Don't get offended. Rocky, the HT Logistics channel is very informative as well. That's good to hear. I'll have to look into them. I don't know if I'm 100% familiar with who they are, but I'm very bad with names, so I might have ran across them. Honestly, as far as YouTube goes, I just watch a lot of automotive stuff, just automotive channels. I don't even watch trucking channels, to be honest. Nothing against them. I like my content to be original. So I try not to, I don't want to get too influenced by them because I kind of want my own little flavor and taste, I guess, if you want to say, or style. Uh, so I don't really watch a whole lot of trucking channels. I mean, I've seen them come across my feed, and I'll click on them sometimes, but most of the time I just watch a bunch of like automotive YouTube, and I like some informative channels and some driving for dollars. Yeah. Okay, Rocky. My next move is to buy my own reefer trailer. That's good. Yeah. I mean, as long as you know you got the loads to justify it, then I'd say go for it. I hear that's doing really well right now too, is what I hear. A couple guys told me that reefer may be slowing down a little bit, but I'm not too 100% sure on that. Oh, let's see. Rocky Press and then Authority. Yeah, that's good, man. Um, if you know it's going to make you more money and be a better opportunity for you, then I'd go for it. Just remember, it takes 30 days to get activated. So just remember that. Don't make any moves. Okay, so you're in the Lubbock area. So you don't do any oil field stuff down there? I think there's a lot of oil field stuff down there, right? In that area of Texas. At least I know there's a lot of companies that want me to go work for them down there. But it's too hot down there for me. I can't handle that humidity or that Texas heat. Yeah, you guys have a lot of produce coming out of Texas, right? Like Laredo. Driving for Dollars. Big Rig Radio Network has a amazing teaching about trucking channel, especially in the older videos. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into some of these channels. I really haven't looked into too many trucking channels, to be honest. I'll be curious to see kind of what they're doing. But I've kind of stayed away. I just kind of I kind of just want to do my own style and whatnot. Let's see, Rocky, dude, I don't want to tear my truck up in the oil field. It's too pretty. Come on, man. That's the fun, off-road truck driver. That's the fun of it. At least that's what I do. Well, not anymore. Well, kind of, sort of. I'm halfway in, halfway out at this point. But yeah, I hear that a lot. My trucks are nice too. I just buy, heavy spec trucks and just, I guess, just build them up so they can take the abuse a little better. But I hear the roads and stuff are pretty gnarly down in Texas. Driving for Dollars. It wasn't really for you, but for the guys just starting out or want to. Oh no, I understand. I hear you. No, what I was saying is I'm just not very familiar with them because obviously I'm not looking for the videos. I'm making them. But yeah, that's good. They should definitely check out my channel as well because I feel like I've got some pretty good informative stuff out there for guys just starting out. But no, I hear you. Rocky, I was always too scared of failure because I bought my own truck, but now that I've done it, I'm very happy you paid 100% cash. That's good, man. That's awesome that you were able to, save up the money and make that happen. And yeah, a lot of it is just getting over that fear. I was scared. I was nervous too. I luckily I had got an opportunity to do exactly what I was doing already, but just as an owner operator, uh, you know, in the field. So that's what made it a lot easier for me is I was doing the exact same job pretty much, but then uh I was doing the exact same job and then I got the opportunity to go and do the same thing as an owner operator. So it made it pretty easy to me, but I was still pretty nervous. Rocky, what happened? You froze up. Oh, I did. What did you want me to go over? No audio? Do I have audio now? Can you hear me now? It seemed to be, it's weird because it never, usually on my side, it'll tell me that I've got bad audio or video, but okay, good. Oh, just got a message. Didn't know if that was about the stream or not. But all right, yeah, that's all right. Sounds good. Yeah, sorry, I don't know where I froze up, but I was just you said how you were kind of scared of failure. I said that I was pretty nervous when I first got into it too, but luckily I was able to do the exact same thing that I was doing as a company driver, and transition right into an owner operator, doing the same exact thing. So that made it a lot easier for me. And that's why I usually ask guys if they're planning on doing the same thing as what they already do, because that's definitely helpful. Because even if I was gonna go like get in flatbed or something, it would take me, a week or two of learning and probably making some mistakes and not making a whole lot of money. So, you know, anybody, even if you're experienced, getting into another side of trucking can definitely be pretty nerve wracking because of the unknown. Like right now, I mean, I have to change my whole approach. I've been in the oil field and the construction side of things for 10 years doing trucking and being an owner operator. And now that's kind of going away as far as the oil field side. So I'm having to transition out of that and get into something completely different because it's just going down, 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 and work's getting slower and slower and slower. So eventually, which I'm in talks with a couple of companies right now, and I think I found a good opportunity, but it's taken me about a month or so to get something nailed down. But that's where saving your money comes in too, though. So that when something happens, you can quickly transition. Let's see here. Make sure I don't forget none of these comments or questions. All right, I'm all caught up. Yeah, I'm gonna probably hang out for another few minutes here, probably another 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I appreciate everybody hanging out with me and having discussion. It's always fun. It's always a good time. I enjoy it. That's why I get on here. Driving for dollars. How long have you been an owner operator for? Just curious. Well, nice, man. I'm happy to hear about another new owner operator that's doing well. Sounds good, Rocky. Yeah, I'm probably gonna head out of here and in about 10 minutes or so. So, but yeah, driving for dollars, that's awesome. Happy to hear it. The first couple of years is usually the hardest in any business, really, but especially for trucking. First couple of years is usually the worst, but sounds like you're doing all right, so that's good. Especially that $4 a mile. Dang, really makes me want to think. It really makes me want to think about. Makes me want to get into that side of things. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hear that a lot, but yeah, who's to say that you were ready for it? I hear you. I was fortunate to get into it, fairly young. Um, but at the same time, I have made some mistakes over the years too. So, you know, it kind of set me back a little bit. So, for older guys or guys out there, they're like, "Oh man, I should have gotten into this sooner." I wouldn't beat yourself up about it too much. I think sometimes, you might not have had the, you know, wherewithal to make it work either. But it's funny, I still know guys that I've known for years, 5, 10 years. That every year it's like, I'm going to buy my own truck. I'm going to become an owner operator. And some of them, I don't want to push them too hard because I don't want to push them into something that they maybe can't handle or aren't meant for it. Because as you guys know, especially you in the chat with me, it's not meant for everybody. Just the trouble and the struggles you go through. It's not meant for everyone. A lot of guys just want to, drive the truck and hand the keys back at the end of the day, and that's fine. So yeah, it definitely takes a special kind of person to be successful as an owner operator. Man, I'm getting tired. Sorry about that. Don't know why. I guess when you're not doing anything all day, you kind of get tired. But yeah, I'm gonna have some new videos coming out soon. In the next couple weeks, week or so, hopefully. Got some repair videos coming out, and then also another potentially big news update coming. Maybe a new truck purchases in the future as I transition out of what I have been doing for the last few years. But I'll definitely keep you guys updated, and just keep a lookout for that. And but yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate it, Driver Dollars and Rocky. It was a nice seeing you pop in. Thanks to everybody else. Texas, good luck. Hopefully you can find somebody that'll take you on. And Diego, good luck as well. And I'm gonna head out. So have a good one. Be safe out there. And if you're in an area, Driver Dollars, looking forward to it. Take us truck shopping. Yeah. I'll take you guys along. I've already found a couple trucks. It won't be too much shopping. I'll just be going out and checking them out and making sure they're good, or doing a new truck reveal, because I've already kind of done the shopping a little bit. But all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Be safe out there. Drive safe out there. If you're in this blizzard that I'm in right now, just try to stay off the roads if you can, unless you actually have to. And I'll see you later.